Hello and welcome to this episode of Wise Human. Today is a solo episode, so it's just me talking to you. um, I'm inspired by our last episode with Chase Bjornson, episode 19. If you want to go check that out, we started talking and did not have this plan, but the conversation naturally went to anxiety, depression, and how that shapes the fabric of our lives, paints and colors our reality. And I'm so grateful to him for being willing and open to go there and have that conversation. That conversation has inspired today's episode because I want to share about my journey with anxiety and depression, because we've come such a far way with mental health and it being something that majority of people are aware of at this point. However, there's still a long way to go. There's still stigma around mental health. And in sharing our stories, we help to empower others to share their stories, to know they're not alone, to know there's a way through, to know that even when it fucking sucks, it sucks and you're in it and you don't know which way's up. Somebody else has been there and they've made it through. So, today I'm going to share a little bit, kind of an overview of my journey with depression and anxiety and what I've learned along the way, what it's taught me, and a couple things you can do to help bring yourself back home to you, to lift that depression, or maybe you don't have depression, but just to get back on your path to really pursue your path. For me, I would say growing up, I experienced anxiety. Depression came later. So, growing up as a kid, there's a handful of times I can specifically remember having pretty major anxiety, not a panic attack, but just really uncomfortable anxiety. It and tended to be around abandonment, which is a whole nother episode we can unpack another time. I've spent years unpacking it. So growing up had these episodes of anxiety. Flash forward, I think probably college, early 20s is when depression started to come in. And also when I had my first panic attack, which if you have experienced a panic attack, oh, huh, I feel you. I'm sorry. They suck. You if you've never experienced one, so you can feel like you're dying. You feel out of control. And at least for me, questioning like, what is this? What's going on? Something wrong with my body? No, it's just my mind creating this physiological response, which is not fun or pleasant. And then flash forward years later, so probably like my late 20s, I was going through a really tough time and ended up going on medication for depression and anxiety. And in, making this decision to go on these medications, I went to a psychiatrist because I wanted to go to somebody who specializes in that, not just my, you know, um, PCP. And actually my PCP is the one that first recommended that I go on something. And I was in therapy at this time, you guys. I had tried everything, or at least I thought everything, all the coping skills, the journaling, the nature, the exercise, the healthy eating, good rest, plenty of water, all the things, meditation. The thing is when you're in depression, it's really hard to motivate to do those things. Like, what you need to do, what might make you feel better, but it's not always easy to do it. And in hindsight, I've learned a lot since then. But in that moment, like, that was what I needed to do. I needed to go on medication. And, I remember the psychiatrist, he wanted me to take the anti-anxiety medicine daily. And I was scared because I didn't want to get addicted to this. It was a benzo, which, disclaimer, I am not a medical professional. I am not offering solutions. Medication is something that has worked for me. I don't think it's for everyone. I do think it's overprescribed, but if that's something, a route that you maybe want to go, seek a medical professional. So he wanted me to take this every day because he was like, we need you to know what it's like to not be anxious. Mind you, at this point, I don't know, I don't even realize how bad things have gotten. My first session with him, he's like, you're severely depressed. And I was like, no, I'm just like a little bit, Meanwhile, I'm like bawling, talking about anything to him. He breaks out the DSM, which is the diagnostic manual for psychological disorders. He goes to depression, he reads it. And I'm like, yep, check, check, check. And persistent for over 2 weeks. Okay. He's like, yeah, you're severely clinically depressed. And that was, a little bit of a eye opener for me because I didn't realize how far I had slipped, I guess you could say, because, it's gradual, right? At least for me, it was gradual. And then I woke up one day, I was like, what is going on? So reluctantly, I did start taking it, the anxiety medicine daily, while the antidepressants kicked in. And it took a little bit. We had to kind of play with doses and different medications till we found something that worked. And it ended up being a combination of 2 medications, and that's what worked for me. So for me, I had a lot of fear around taking medication, which is funny because I studied psychology. Like, I get that, and I was a pharmacy technician at the time, so I totally get that people have a need for these things. But I wanted to do it on my own. I don't want to surrender and need that assistance. However, once I took the medication, once it started to kick in, I think I also had a fear that I wouldn't be me, that it would make me feel off. And I realized once I took it, I actually just felt like me again. It was incredible. I felt like myself again. And then it was years of being on medication and, taking the anxiety medication every day and then not taking it every day, taking it as I needed and then not taking it anymore, but carrying it with me because I needed that security, or I thought I needed that security of having it with me, being in control, to then not needing it anymore, and then reducing the antidepressants. So it has been a journey, and I can share more about that later, but I don't think I need to share too much about it. That's kind of my overarching situation. And, now there's still days, and I'm not going to say that I'm never going to be depressed again, but there's still days that or periods that are challenging, and some of it's situational, some of it, for me, the environment is huge. Like, put me in the sunshine, lay me on the earth, and like that's all I need. I am a happy woman. So it's learning these things about yourself. And over the past 15 years that I've been studying psychology and personal development, I've learned a lot about me and what makes me tick. And the biggest thing that I learned is that depression is actually redirection. Depression is you getting a signal saying, hey, we are off course. And the deeper the depression goes, the stronger it is, the further off course you are, the further off course you have gotten. So it gets louder and louder and louder and starts screaming at you until you start to come back to your course, to your lane. As my coach says, stay in your lane. So we have to bring ourselves back to what gives us purpose, what gives us meaning. Why are we on this earth? I truly believe we all have a purpose. We all have a reason for being here. And it is to contribute to society. It is to contribute in some way to this earth, to animals, to humans, to our environment. the thing is so many of us don't do that thing. And it can be anything. It could be you plant flowers in your backyard so bees and butterflies can thrive. It could be you're the garbage truck driver that like crushes it at their job every day. And it could be that you're a CEO of a company that finds the cure for cancer. It could be anything. There is no threshold of what that looks like. But only you know what that truly is for yourself. And if you're on the path will open for you. Doors will open. We are going into another episode right now. So I will stop there and just say that depression is redirection. It is a big billboard saying, hey, you are off track. You are off course. It is time to come back to you. And I think this is really beautifully summed up by a Jim Carrey quote, which says, depression is your body saying, fuck you. I don't want to be this character anymore. I don't want to hold up this avatar that you created. And the world is too much for me. And that goes along with Jeff Foster's teachings that deep rest is what depression is. Depression is your body's call for deep rest, a deep detox from the avatar that you're playing, from this role that you're putting on that is not you. It is not you. It is not your purpose. It is, maybe it was you at some point, and maybe it served you at some point. And in life in general, all of the things that we end up changing about ourselves are these, deeply rooted patterns and behaviors that no longer serve. If we trace back, we can go back and see where that developed and that it did serve you. It was protecting you. It was a part of your survival at one point. But now, as an adult, it's no longer serving. So we're constantly evolving as humans. So who you are and your purpose today might be the avatar that you're playing 10 years down the road if you don't pay attention. And the people you surround yourself with, they're going to want you to continue to play that avatar, right? Because that's who they have known to come and expect you to be. They rely on you being that person. So there will be pushback when you start to shift this. You might lose some of your community. You might lose relationships. You might lose jobs. That's okay though, because something so much better is waiting on the other side of that. So how do you get yourself back to you? How do you get back on track when life is challenging, difficult, you feel far away from what your purpose is, what makes you feel good, what lights you up? Couple of things. First, set firm boundaries. Set very firm boundaries, especially around the avatar, right? This persona that no longer is you. It's not you at your essence. Set firm boundaries around that. Say no to the things that do not feel good. If it is not a hell yes, it's a no. It's a no. Sure, there's some obligations like, mom's birthday or the family holiday. You don't have to say yes to it, but, maybe it's an okay, fine, go. But do not say yes to these things. It's not doing anybody good. Set firm boundaries. Do the things that light you up. That's number 2. Follow your joy. Follow the things that light you up. What makes you feel alive? What gets you excited? Like what makes you feel like a little kid and like giddy inside, like it's Christmas morning? Those are the things to pursue. And it might not make sense. It might be the tiniest little thing, but start doing those things. And the more you do those things, the more those things will come to you and the path will open. You might not know where the path is leading, but if you're doing those things, believe me, it's going to take you to a beautiful place. Like, I just cannot stress that enough. Do the things that light you up, the people, the opportunities, the locations, the business deals will flow into your life when you're doing the things that light you up, because then you become a magnet for miracles. You become a magnet for the future that you want. You become magnetic. And it's incredible. I've been there. I've been there. I've been low. I've been high. I've been low. I've been magnetic. I've been like in cocoon phase. And all of it is beautiful and all of it has a place. So the first thing, set firm boundaries. Second thing, follow your joy. And the third thing is give yourself grace. Give yourself grace. Have compassion for yourself. It's not a one-day journey. This life, though it's short, it's very long. And things don't happen overnight, and that's okay. And you'll have like, a good day or two, or you'll be like really feeling like you're on track, you're like pursuing your goals and your dreams, and then something will happen. It'll derail you. Maybe like you ate like shit last week and you didn't get enough sleep and you went out drinking and work is stressful or your dog died or whatever it is. Things are going to happen in life, and you're going to have rough days and good days. And you have to have one to really truly appreciate the other, right? Like you can't have one without the other. So again, last time, 3 things you can do. Set firm boundaries. Follow your joy. Every day, if you can, find something every day, no matter how small, that brings you joy. Maybe it's watching the sunrise. Maybe it's a warm cup of coffee or a nice tea with some honey. Maybe it's putting your feet on the earth. Maybe it's taking a picture. Do one thing every day that brings you joy. Give yourself grace. Treat yourself the way you would treat a friend, or even better, if you have a kid, or if you can imagine what it would be like to have a kid, or your, niece or nephew. Talking to a kid, how would you treat a kid going through the same thing you're going through? If you find it hard to give yourself grace, that can be a nice reframe. And I promise you, nothing lasts forever. If you're in a good moment, enjoy it, savor it, soak it all in, know that it is temporary. And if you're in a difficult situation, know that it is temporary. It will end. Also, remember that a lot of times from that like deep, dark, rough, challenging time comes rebirth. The phoenix rises from the ashes. Those times are a catalyst for growth. And I know in it doesn't always feel like it. It's hard to sometimes see that. But I promise you, you're going to look back one day and be like, I see why that happened. I see why that happened. Then this happened. Then this happened. Then this happened, because it all led me here today. And I needed to learn those lessons to be where I am today, to have the career that I have, to have the relationship that I have, to have the business that I have, the friendships that I have. It's all leading to something. It's all a part of your journey, and all of it is beautiful, even though sometimes it's hard. I'm not saying it's not hard. It's fucking hard. I've cried. I've laughed. I've screamed. I've punched things. Like that's really, I've only kind of punched a pillow, but still, I get it. Life is hard and you're resilient. Thank you so much for listening today. That is my story and my journey. And I really, really just want to say that I appreciate each and every one of you that shows up and listens to the podcast, that sends me messages and gives me feedback and, share their stories. So many people are sharing their stories with me in private messages. And it really makes me feel great because this podcast was birthed through me. It's not mine. It's this world's. It's meant to be here in this world. And I am so honored to be the person that's carrying it and facilitating it, and hearing feedback from you guys. It just validates why we're here, why we're doing this. And I'm really excited to continue to grow and share with each and every one of you. So thank you so much. And blessings. We will see you next time. If you enjoyed this episode or found value in it, I invite you to leave a 5-star review, or share with a friend. And be sure to subscribe so you don't miss future episodes. Thank you, beautiful human, so much for helping spread the word. Blessings to you. Until next time.